like my whole like not liking like Disney princesses, or not that I don't like them, but being freaked out by like park Disney princesses and other like characters extends into clowns. So this part definitely freaked me out a little bit.
I forgot about that.
But these are some stunning pieces. Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume Blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I'm a wooden soldier who also cracks nuts, Spencer Williams.
Hi Spencer, how was your week?
Oh, thanks for asking, Elizabeth. It's been great. Not feeling great, but I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling fine.
Feeling fine? Are you getting to the festive spirit?
I'm getting into the festive spirit. I was just in Disneyland. I was at a bunch of events, so probably where I got sick in the first place. But like, I'm feeling festive. You know, I'm doing my best watching Christmas movies to keep myself peppy,
spirits up.
Yeah, so I'm ready to crack some nuts.
Good. I'm glad. After our conversation last week, I actually went out and got some more Christmas gift shopping done.
Oh, well, that's good. So you're done already?
Almost. I got more today. One of those like flash sales that like Instagram markets to you.
Oh no.
But I was like, oh, this would be perfect for this person.
Yeah.
So I got them a gift. Yeah. So I've been shopping and watching documentaries. I watched like 5 documentaries in the past week.
Oh, that's fun. You know what I watched? I don't know if you've seen yet, but I watched Miss Marvel finally. And I watched She-Hulk, and it's so good, both of them.
I've been watching documentaries because I took on like basically like a freelance job. So like I like need background stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like rewatching anything. I wanted to like absorb something new. So I've been putting on documentaries. Because they are easy to drown out sometimes. And you always know when something dramatic and important is happening in a documentary. It's hard to miss. But yeah, like I watched the Victoria's Secret one, which is wild.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that one.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I watched that. I watched The Most Hated Man on the Internet. A really wholesome one about Queen Elizabeth on Nat Geo.
Lovely. A
kind of strange one about Princess Diana on HBO. It wasn't strange.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it on there. Just looking at me.
It wasn't. It's worth a watch. It's not super long.
Well, that sounds like a mighty good time. I will check it out.
Good.
There's
you got very southern there.
There's a documentary on Netflix I've been eyeing. It's about I think it's, oh my gosh, I'm going to sound stupid. I think it's 99, the Woodstock that happened, I think in 99.
I watched that one too.
Did you? I've been wanting to watch that one where it completely fails.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. It had like MTV people who were covering it for MTV were on the documentary. The Woodstock guy, they interviewed him shortly before he died. So he's in the documentary. Yeah, that was excellent.
So if you're looking for any documentaries to get yourself into the Christmas spirit, come to Spencer and Elizabeth. We have all the cheerful stuff for you.
Oh, there was one very cheerful one I watched about cats on Netflix.
Oh, I did watch the trailer for that. And I remember thinking, Elizabeth would really like this documentary.
I loved it.
Actually, I think it came on after I watched Jingle Jangle. And then, like, you know, how it shows like 3 things right after. It was the cat documentary.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. I love that. You know what else I love, Spencer?
The Nutcracker, for sure.
The Nutcracker. Everybody, this week, we watched The Nutcracker and the 4 Realms.
Yes. Lots of fun. Quite the stunning, visually beautiful film.
Definitely. I remember when this came out, it was like a huge holiday release, and then I feel like I never heard about it again.
Yeah. But like this is one of those films where like the costumes are so recognizable though.
Yes.
I mean, I've literally seen a Keira Knightley costume multiple times in person. It pops up in like every cool Disney museum exhibition at this point.
Oh yeah, because it's a beautiful piece. And I feel like we should just jump into this. Spencer, give us a summary.
All right, Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Clara needs a magical, one-of-a-kind key to unlock a box that contains a priceless gift. A golden thread leads her to the key, but it soon disappears into a strange and mysterious parallel world. In that world, she meets a soldier, some mice, and the regents who preside over 3 really cool realms. Clara must then enter a 4th realm to retrieve the key and restore harmony to the unstable land. And that is Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
That is Nutcracker in the Four Realms. If you have Disney Plus, you can watch this right now.
Yeah, and you'll love it.
You will love it. You will love it. So let's go behind the wardrobe. We have directors Lasse Hallström and Joe Johnston.
Oh, yeah.
Love a Joe Johnston film. Our costume designer is 11-time Oscar nominee and 3-time winner, Jenny Beavan.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You will know her work from Oscar-winning A Room with a View, Oscar-nominated Howard's End, Sense and Sensibility 1995 Oscar nomination, Ever After, A Cinderella Story, for which we did an episode earlier this year, Anna and the King 1999 Oscar nomination, Gosford Park Oscar nomination, Alexander, Sherlock, and A Game of Shadows, Mad Max Fury Road Oscar win, in which we also did an episode. The King's Speech Oscar nomination, and Cruella, which was our very first episode and for which Jenny Beavan won her 3rd Oscar.
We probably won't be doing any Jenny Beavan films for a little while, so get your fix now because we've almost gone through her entire filmography at this point.
Not quite. She's done a lot of films.
Right.
And she said to Brit & Co. about the Nutcracker and the Four Realms, a project like this is just amazing for a costume designer. The variety will provide some fantastic characters to costume, and she had some fantastical characters to costume. And she said to Variety about working on this film, we were doing a lot of glue and sparkling glitter. In fact, I had glitter all over my clothes for weeks after finishing the Nutcracker. I think we all sparkled. Oh,
I love that. I mean, I imagine Jenny Beavan's always sparkling regardless if she's working on the Nutcracker. That's just how I imagine her.
I feel like she has that glowy energy where you meet her and you're just like, yes, this is a wonderful person.
Right.
But despite all the fantasy, Jenny Beavan, known for her historical dramas, knew she had to root this in reality. She told the LA Times, we said it in 1875 for the basic story. You've got to have an anchor. When you do films where they say, I don't care about the period, and they're all over the place, I think even when people don't know the period, they know it's kind of wrong.
Right. That's a really good point.
It's definitely very believable, especially like, you know, in the regular Victorian era world. But then even in the fantastical world, like it's very rooted in reality. And they had the time to make it that wonderful, fantastically grounded in reality piece. They had 12-week prep period.
Wow.
More than 100 people working on cutting, embellishing, fitting, dressing. She estimates that the movie's principal actors had about 150 costumes, which included doubles, plus hundreds more for the magical realm. They had about 700 rented costumes for big crowd scenes and 1,500 outfits about in total.
This is like such a typical Jenny Beavan film, like 1,000,002 costumes, 2 gazillion employees, all with crazy talented jobs. This is such a typical, and like no better person to do this film than Jenny Beavan. I'm sure they saw this work, years later, and they're like, okay, well, we already know he's going to do Cruella, so this is just like the pre-workout before Cruella.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this the first Disney film she did?
Or was I don't think Ever After was Disney, so this probably was like her first.
Probably. They were clearly like, well, this is the woman who's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, they were like, we need Jenny Beavan. Get her on the phone. Stat.
Get her here. We got to have her.
Well, if that, Elizabeth, some amazing behind the wardrobe facts, as always. Let's take a little break, and when we come back, we'll get into the Nutcracker and eat sugar plums and stuff like that.
Ooh, eat my hair like cotton candy.
Do you eat sugar plums?
I actually don't know what a sugar plum is, now that you say that.
Yeah, I don't know what a sugar plum is, but maybe we will eat them after the break.
I need to Google this now. What the fuck is a sugar plum?
We'll be right back. What's up, costume nerds? This is Spencer, co-host and producer of the Art of Costume Blogcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We greatly appreciate all the support. If you want to continue in your support, you can become a costume maven at patreon.com/theartofcostume. There we post unheard bloopers, highlights, and bonus episodes for our costume mavens. You can even chat with other listeners and vote on future episodes. Head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume and subscribe now. Elizabeth, are you ready to jump into the Nutcracker?
Oh, yeah. And it starts our favorite way, Spencer.
With a ball.
With a Christmas Eve ball. We meet Clara and her family. And I have to say, every time I see Matthew McFadden in a role now, it freaks me out because I can't see him as anything but his character in Succession.
Oh, I haven't seen Succession, but he looks so familiar to me.
Yeah, he's in Succession. He's in a bunch of things. We will probably at one point watch the Pride and Prejudice where he's Mr. Darcy, which freaked me out when I realized he was the Mr. Darcy in that film.
I love that Elizabeth says at some point, but she damn well knows it's already on her schedule. She just hasn't showed it to me yet.
If I remember correctly, it is Oscar nominated for its costumes.
Right.
I'm not the biggest fan of that particular movie, mostly because I think the story of Pride and Prejudice is better suited to miniseries. The movie doesn't give enough time for the story to like breathe. So that's my personal problem, though.
What I love is that Clara is being played by Renesmee herself.
Right? Right.
And I'm not talking about the creepy Renesmee doll. I'm talking about the actual actress from Breaking Dawn.
I love that this, like, little Renesmee is actually, like, working and, you know, is she still working? Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really working. Yeah. Her last film was in 2020, so hopefully that was just like a pandemic. Like, hopefully she has something else coming out because she's so good.
Yeah, she's so talented, so beautiful. I was like, where have I seen her before? She just like you could tell she needs to be in like a Tim Burton film. She has a Tim Burton-esque like look to her. She gives me like Ava Green a little bit.
Yes.
So great in this film. But I really want to talk about her ball gown, though. That purple, that lavender.
Yes.
So stunning. I was obsessed with it. It was actually, I will say, possibly my one costume to rule them all. It's definitely up there being juggled around.
Like, rightfully so. This is a beautiful piece, and it transitions really beautifully from the Victorian world to this fantasy land Jenny Beavan talked to Brit & Co. about it. She said, she's obviously not a particularly dressy girl, but I felt for the party they were a family with wealth, so she would have had a proper dress. But the main thing I wanted was when she came out into the snow in the realms, it was extremely inappropriate to be dressed in such a gauzy, flimsy dress, because I loved those images and the sort of idiosyncrasy of that, which I'm like, yes, brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the typical like Alice in Wonderland, you know, popping out in like a huge ball gown, Chronicles of Narnia, and you're like, whoa, like I need to change.
Whoa. Back up.
But the colors still like perfectly work though as she blends into like the four realms.
Yes. And Jenny Beavan actually talked about the color a little bit with Brit & Co. as well. She said, I think Disney wanted a new color. You know, they'd done the yellow dress for Belle and the blue dress for Cinderella. And I thought, well, that's a lovely idea. So they were like, okay, let's have something totally new.
Yeah.
For this new princess of theirs.
That is such a good point. Like, there's only so many colors you could do when you're doing a Disney film like this. Like, so this would have been the best choice, I'd say.
Absolutely. And I love the amount of detail she puts into it, but it's still very simple and childlike.
Right. And then she has to think about, like, when she's doing that ball scene in the beginning, she has to remember that this dress also has to work well in the four realms too. So she's costuming for two scenes at the same time. That is some crazy mind games right there.
Absolutely. And she chose like the perfect purple because like in the Victorian era, it is lavender, but it's still quite rich and, you know, fits in quite well. But then when she goes into the four realms with the light changing, it turns into this like icy purple, which I didn't know was a thing till I saw this film. But it's like an icy purpley color. She quickly meets all the three realms, what guards they have to offer.
Just a bunch of goofy soldiers.
But she does meet Philip, the Nutcracker soldier, and I love his costume. It is so cool.
It's so cool. The embellishment on it is just so intricate and complex, very rich and detailed. It really like brings you into this fantasy world, but still somehow feels like a little bit based in reality too, though. Like it's recognizable. You know what she's doing while it still feels fantasy.
Yeah, definitely, because the idea that all of them are toys brought to life, it's like, okay, yeah, they all look, you know, 19th century Victorian toys. So they do have like that grounding in reality, which is like a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I wonder if these are the gingerbread soldiers, Spencer. the two palace guards.
Elizabeth and I are confused because I could have sworn I read something about gingerbread soldiers, but it could also be COVID brain, so I could be making stuff up. But if there were any, it would be some of these two soldiers.
These two that are guarding the gate are just so funny.
It was so fun to see Jack Whitehall. He's such a great comedian. Barely recognizable in that costume. They did a great job transforming these characters into like really like campy, toy-like soldiers.
Yeah, especially them, because compared to, oh gosh, I can't remember, Philip, they look so goofy and simple.
Yeah.
Oh, but then we meet Sugar Plum, played by Keira Knightley, in all her glory.
All of this dress is so iconic, so famous.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, I've seen this dress so many times. I've like traveled and seen it at different exhibitions. It is stunning. It is beautiful. It is all that. So many great colors and textures to it. And it works so perfectly with her hair. It's just like, this is one of Jenny Beavan's greatest pieces she's ever done in her career.
Absolutely. And she talked about it to laughingpalace.com. She said, I think Sugar Plum, because we chose to do a look that actually sucked up vast amounts of fabric, and it was all hundreds of these little fans and then sort of flounced about. But what we hadn't quite realized was to get the amount of fabric it would eat up doing that, and getting enough of the same fabric is always tricky. Yeah. She was like, once you go over 20 meters of fabric, she said they had to wait about 6 weeks just to get the fabric. And she had to make 2 of them.
Jeez, that, yeah. I mean, just looking at it, like, that is a crap ton of fabric.
Yeah. I'm like, no wonder she only has 1 costume in this film.
Yeah, because we didn't have enough time to make her another one.
No.
It's probably so heavy, too, I bet.
Oh, I bet. I mean, it looks like they have a good, like, cage underneath that. So hopefully that took, like, most of the weight off Keira Knightley. But yeah, definitely a weighty garment.
Such incredible costume. I will say, though, the Keira Knightley accent did not need to happen. What was that about, Elizabeth?
I don't know. I think they were trying to make her like fairy-like. That's what I thought. Especially once I saw the fairy wings, I was like, okay, she's supposed to be like a little fairy.
Well, whatever. I didn't like it.
Clearly you didn't. This is like the 3rd time you've brought it up.
Well, first time on microphone I brought it up.
True. What I didn't like was when she started eating her hair.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, during the ballet scene. It was funny, but I was also like, that's your hair, girl.
Is it made of cotton candy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that sounds really nice, actually.
Yeah. I do actually love this wig. Like...
Yeah, no, Keira Knightley looks amazing, and we love Keira Knightley. She is great. I just didn't get the accent, but the costume and the hair is incredible.
I also love that it's not like a purely pink dress.
Oh, no, like, yeah.
She could have made this bubblegum pink. It would not have had the same effect.
No, especially when she was right next to Clara, who has that lavender dress on. Mm-hmm. Like, they had to, like... There had to be differentiation in the colors. Yeah.
And then, like, once she turned evil, like, that would have just looked silly for her to be in, like, a pink dress.
Yeah. I was also caught off guard by that. I was like, Sugar Plum, I believed in you. I was rooting for you, Sugar Plum.
Right. So
how dare you?
So evil, but surrounded by so many good costumes.
Yeah.
And Jenny Beavan talks about the residents of the 4 realms to the LA Times. She said, we decided to think about what Clara's mother had in her closet or her cupboards. When I have nightmares or dreams, they're often anchored in something I've seen that day or something I have around. So we went to the sort of Staffordshire porcelain figures people would have. They're 18th century and they were perfect for the realm of flowers. It was translated brilliantly for all the realms. We covered them with ice and snow and sickles and frost and glitter, covered them in candy and sugar and sweet motifs. So they're based on memories, which I'm like, I love that. Like, because those like little porcelain figures from the 18th century, they are very fanciful, like the residents of the 4 realms. And like, they have lots of like flower patterning on them. So I understand why she was like, yeah, the flowers. And then they could translate that into all these other realms.
Yeah, the citizens of the 4 realms, stunning. I mean, like every single costume is just covered in flowers and like such beautiful silhouettes, and the hair is big. It like reminds me all of like the Alexander McQueen dress that has like the purple flowers on it, and like kind of like grapes inspired, like vineyard inspired. It's very high fashion.
Absolutely. But they had to go to some strange places to get everything they needed for these costumes. Jenny Beavan told thelaughingpalace.com, of course, you can get amazing things in shop display stores that sell stuff to do with window dressings. We were just out finding anything we could to just find ideas. And from those ideas came those costumes. I had as much fun, in fact, with Hawthorne and Shiver as I did with Sugar Plum. They don't end up on screen for as long, but to me, they're just as important.
Oh, yeah.
So, first off, we have Shiver, played by one of our favorites, Richard E. Grant.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Very unrecognizable.
No.
I love his costume. It's so cool. The icicle work with like the icicle collar. Like, this is so cool. This is like Jack Frost wishes he looked this good.
Jack Frost does wish he looked this good. She talked to the Laughing Palace more about his look. She said, finding the most extraordinary piece of cutwork fabric that felt to me, it was like the pattern of that ice makes on windows. You know, when you do get a real frost and you get those extraordinary geometric patterns on the windows, and those came together, and I thought, oh, that might be the way to go. And it's like, I didn't even notice that this was like cutwork fabric until I you close up see. I thought it was like a brocade, but no.
I didn't realize that either. There's just so much happening in this film that's so visually, this is a perfect film, and there's so much to look at that's so exciting that you miss even like small details. So you gotta really watch a second time. I don't know, listen to like a really good costume design podcast to really get all of the great details.
You do. And same goes for Hawthorne. So, like with Shiver, she did lots of research. As she explained to the Laughing Palace. She said, I think it all came from various research, looking up fairy tale illustrations from the 19th century, and some people like Alexander McQueen who did amazing things.
Oh, nice.
I never think of them as fashion. I think of them as a sort of works of art, really. Lots of flowers. I think it was probably the flowers that got me going first.
Okay.
So you called it, Spencer.
Not to brag, but I really feel like I'm in Jenny Beavan's head right now. I think it's because we've done so many Jenny Beavan episodes. I'm really up in there right now.
I think so. And I love Hawthorne. He has this like great like embroidered fabric. Oh, all the detail is beautiful.
It's so good. And shout out to like the hair design team, because they also like really carried their part in this film. The Hawthorne's hair, stunning.
And Jenny Beavan talked about her collaboration to the Laughing Palace. She said, it's Jenny Circo who did the hair and makeup on this film. She and I get along brilliantly. I think this was our finest collaboration. We have worked together before, but we were just so in tune. The very early days in pre-production, we asked if we could have 3 actors come in, extras really, who we could just dress up to see if they were working. And that was really exciting. They came in early and we dressed them up. And then Jenny did this amazing makeup and hair. And that was the beginning of it. And what we learned from that day, we could refine it, and it was absolutely a brilliant collaboration. And to be honest, it's the pair of us together that make it look good.
Wow. So her name is also Jenny. It's just two flawless Jennys doing flawless work.
Flawless work. And I love that she acknowledges like, hey, it's not just me. It's Jenny Shearcore as well.
Yes, the icons.
The absolute icons. Also an absolute icon, we have Clara in her pageant gown.
Oh, yeah, that was such a great one. So beautiful, very regal. Like, she is definitely the queen's daughter.
Absolutely.
Honestly, she should just be queen at this point.
Yeah.
But, like, very regal, very put together. It almost, like, felt like out of this world, you know? Like, it felt like very based in reality, this queen look she had on.
I agree. And Jenny talked to Brit and Co about this look. She said the pageant dress, that is a really cool dress with the lace and the sleeves. It flows. It has this long train. It's got this flowery pattern. It was one of those dresses when you're a little girl, you wish you could wear a really crazy fancy dress. That's that dress. Which it's true. This is kind of like a little girl's fantasy. And I wasn't, because I'd seen this picture before of her and Sugar Plum in the mirror. And I wasn't crazy about it because it feels very heavy on her. But also it's like that's Sugar Plum like forcing her into this role to kind of like manipulate her. So it makes sense. But then when you see the whole thing with the train, oh my gosh, it's stunning.
Yeah, it's like really giving the crown. And it is funny too because Sugar Plum is giving serious red flags, but none of us are catching it because she's so cotton candy and like the pink and plum colors. Mm-hmm. But she's serving real red flags.
She is. She absolutely is, especially during the ballet with this just beautiful ballerina playing her mother. And like, it's just like the perfect white ballet dress. The wig matches perfectly. This is like such a good look.
Oh, yeah. I was blown away. And I was just like, damn, Jenny Beavan also had to do like a full-on ballet production.
Yeah.
Like, it's insanity.
It's insanity. I loved the mouse costumes.
Very cute.
So cute. But the ballerina, I was just like, man, for like what's basically a featured extra, stunning.
Yeah. So stunning. Good.
And guess what, Spencer?
What?
There are more stunning looks to come after our break.
Let's take a break.
Hi, this is Dan, audio engineer of the Blogcast, here to let you know that if you wanted to support the show, you can head over to theartofcostume.com/podstore. There you can buy some awesome TeePublic merch with the Blogcast logo. We have shirts, sweaters, coffee mugs, stickers, and of course, a baby onesie. Thank you for all of your support.
It's now a bad time to tell you that I really don't understand the Nutcracker story. Not this film, but just all Nutcrackers. And I'll tell you why. Because my only introduction to the Nutcracker was this 1999 film called The Nuttiest Nutcracker. And it had to do with like vegetables and fruit and mice. And that's all I know.
I'm going to be honest, Spencer. I don't really understand it either. I think it is the route of like Alice in Wonderland where like this is maybe like a fever dream.
Okay.
That like in the actual like ballet. I don't know about the story.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know if it's based off like a novel or it might be based off a poem, the ballet.
I think it's like a 1890 something. I don't know if it's a novel or a play. What I'm getting at is I've never read it. I've only saw the VHS tape of this VeggieTales based Nutcracker
honestly,
fever dream that I've seen.
The only other complete Nutcracker film I've watched is Barbie and the Nutcracker. So
okay, so let's all stop pretending like we know what's happening here because we don't.
We don't. I remember as a kid going on a field trip to, I think it was like a college. We got to like sit in on their like rehearsal of the Nutcracker. I don't know. It was a weird field trip. I remember.
Oh. That sounds lovely though.
Yeah.
Here, this is the nuttiest Nutcracker.
Yeah. What is lovely is Clara in her military dress.
Yes, this was such a good look. Like, Clara's taken, the kingdom into her own hands. She's now the military leader. It's time to get things done around here because clearly everyone else is just fine with sitting around and being lazy.
Yeah.
But not Clara.
Not Clara. She's going to go get that key and look good doing it. I love how it was so tailored to her. The colors echo kind of the other soldiers, but is very distinctive to her.
Yeah, it looks great on her. It's still very feminine too at the same time. I love the length of the skirt. It's just such a great jacket too. It looks great on her.
It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. What was also beautiful, Spencer? We have clowns.
I love the clowns. They might have been my favorite character. They were so creepy. But then at the same time, the details on their costumes, I was mesmerized.
Gorgeous. I agree. I'll be honest, I was a little scared.
Yeah.
Because, my thing with, people in suits extends to clowns.
Right.
So
I can imagine someone with a clown phobia not liking these scenes.
Yeah. Like my whole, not liking, Disney princesses, or not that I don't like them, but being freaked out by, park Disney princesses and other, characters extends into clowns. So this part definitely freaked me out a little bit.
I forgot about that.
But these are some stunning pieces.
Oh, yeah. They're so cool. They're so interesting. Each one of the clowns, has their own personality, too. They're very... I would love to know the research behind, these certain clown characters, because you could tell, they're very referenced, very old-fashioned clowns, very spooky.
Very, very spooky. Also spooky, Mother Ginger, played by Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren, she's creepy, and I like it.
Be. Yeah. Helen Mirren is one of my favorite actresses, and she kills it every time. And I love her, her military dress. It's it's this just layering of all these different patterns. I don't think any piece of her clothing has the same pattern as the other one.
No.
Or same color, but it works.
It's very cool. Resembles the giant, almost, I want to say circus tent, but it's not a circus tent, but it gives circus vibes. But then her look almost resembles that tent. And it's made of what looks to me upholstery fabrics, lots of curtain based fabrics in her look, which even has the little tassels hanging off the end too. She's giving upholstery, expensive curtain.
Yes, absolutely. She could have been a little more gentle with Clara. She came off very strong.
Right. She was not the villain, but she was really giving strong villain vibes. I would have been confused too.
It's clearly this little girl does not know what's going on, Mother Ginger. Maybe reel it in a little bit and be this is what's really going on.
Yeah. We all need to have a sit down meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And she gets that sit down meeting when Mother Ginger helps her overthrow Sugar Plum. I loved this final look.
Yeah, this is such an underrated look, where in the sense that this is up there with Sugar Plum's look. It is so cool.
Yes.
It takes that upholstery curtain vibe, but so much, all of a sudden it's very couture, Alexander McQueen silhouette again, where you see all the tassels, but billows out into these panniers at the side.
Yes.
It is strong. This is high fashion costuming.
And I love, it's the same jacket she was wearing before, but just with a skirt instead of pants. And I love that the skirts replicate the circus tent. And she's got this fabulous collar, this beautiful wig. She is given all the looks.
And she's just is bright and radiant now. She's giving the sun energy. She's very bright and positive. And this is the leader we were all looking for. Not the two like dummies behind her who have great costumes, but really did nothing to help us in this story.
I love when Clara apologizes and Mother Ginger is like, it's fine. Nobody else listened to me either. All the people who should have known better didn't listen to me either. So you're good.
Don't worry. I got these two dummies behind me. Looks back at Icicle Head and Flower Beard. And she's like,
and they're like, I feel like they're like putting their hands over their faces like, not me.
Say we want about Sugar Plum, but at least she had like a mission and cared about her job.
Absolutely. And then we have Clara's final gown, this beautiful light up piece.
Oh, so good. I felt like tearing up when I saw this piece.
And it's not in the film long enough. It's not in the film long enough for how brilliant this is. And she talked about this gown to the Laughing Palace. She said, well, I have to say that one of our Disney producers was really keen on the idea of the light up thing. And I thought, well, that's really good fun. Actually, it was IKEA Christmas decoration lights. And I think they digitally enhanced them. But we took them and sewed them into the costume in patterns. It just sort of felt right. Isn't it just a fantastic little thing? She's in this extraordinary world. And I thought, well, that's a nice idea, but it wasn't mine. It was one of our Disney producers. I love how modest Jenny Beavan is and how quickly she gives credit to like whoever came up with the idea.
Right. You think like by the way she talks, she like doesn't even do much, but we all know that this this legend is just out here working hard, and she's like, oh well, you know.
Oh, it was this person. It was that person. And I just thought it was a good idea.
IKEA Christmas lights. I love it. I love this look. It is such an underrated look.
Yes.
The way they promote this movie, I had no idea this look even existed until I watched it. And I was like, whoa.
Right?
What is this? It is so cool.
Like, this is the big... It replaces... You know how most Disney princesses, they're getting married at the end?
Yeah.
I was like, well, she's not, because she didn't need a man.
Right.
Well, she needed her soldiers. But in reality, she didn't need a man to help her. And she's not going to need a man to help her rule this kingdom. She can do it all on her own. And they just gloss right over this. I'm like, there's usually like a huge wedding sequence at the end with like a whole ball. And I was just like, come on, Disney.
No.
And Mother Ginger is just like, oh, you go out and then, you know, help her back to her world. Right.
They're like, let us get you back to your dad. But this is like a full-on coronation look for me. It is just... Whew, it is a good look.
It is a beautiful look. Spencer, and that brings us to the end of the Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
What did you think of the movie, Elizabeth?
I thought it was so much fun. It's so cute. And like, it's cute and beautiful. And I wish it's under 2 hours, which was shocking to me. I'm like, I wish we could have spent a little more time developing the story. But quite frankly, all eyes were on the costumes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this movie, like the story was kind of like bleh to me. But visually, the costumes carried this movie. Costumes and hair. And makeup. Like, this is a visually stunning, perfect movie. Story, whatever. But like I said, hey, maybe this is a story. My only reference is this talking vegetable movie about the Nutcracker. So maybe we're right on track. I don't know.
Maybe we should find a movie that like explains it better. Or maybe come visit me for Christmas. There are always theaters putting on productions of the Nutcracker. So we could go watch the ballet.
Maybe it will all make sense.
Although now that I'm thinking about it, ballets, they don't say anything, do they? We have to figure it all out ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
We have to interpret the dance, Spencer.
Help us. Well, what we do know is how to play our favorite game. Elizabeth, are you ready?
Yes. Hit it, Daniel. The one costume to rule them all. My one costume to rule them all is Clara's lavender ball gown from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I love how it transitions. I love what it says about Clara. And it's very true. Like, I feel like a lot of times when there's like a girl in a movie who like doesn't care about fashion and then has to dress up, I feel like they always make her look uncoordinated. But Jenny Beavan's right. She's like, she's from a rich family who's going to make sure she looks good. So she looks good. She looks coordinated. I love that Disney was like, let's get some new colors in here. And it just works so well.
I agree with you. Such a good choice. And actually, up until 20 minutes ago, that was my one costume to rule them all. But I changed it at the last minute because I had to go with that final like coronation look that Clara wears.
Yes.
When I saw lighting up, walking down, I was like, how has Disney not promoted this costume more? I've seen every single costume from this film in exhibits. I've even traveled to like Seattle and I saw all these costumes. Mm-hmm. They were at the FIDA Museum. No mention of this light up costume. Disney, this is a incredible costume. It needs more publicity. This costume was breathtaking to me, and I was just blown away when I saw it, especially when I saw it start lighting up. Like, are you serious? That's a great costume. So, but I hear you on the lavender look, though. That is just a stunning costume as well.
It is, and I agree with you. Like, these are neck and neck.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with my lavender, but like the light up gown is a strong contender. You let us know which one you think was the one costume to rule them all. You can leave us a voicemail at 626-515-1826. Spencer, what are we watching next week?
Well, next week is our final episode of the year.
Yes.
Our season 2 finale, which feels crazy. And Elizabeth and I figured the best way to end our year is with a film that means a lot to a lot of us that we know. The costume is going to be incredible. Designed by the Ruth Carter, Wakanda Forever. The sequel to Black Panther. Very excited to see it. I hope I'm able to watch it through my tears.
I know.
But you and I both know that the costumes for this are about to be bumpin'.
I'm so excited. I don't cry often, and I'm already like choking up at the trailers. So yeah. I'm like, I gotta be prepared for this.
It's gonna be so good. But we just know Ruth Carter goes crazy with these costumes.
She does.
Plus now we got like the Atlantean costumes. This is the perfect season finale.
Absolutely. If you have some time to spare and want to check us out on Instagram, you can find us at The Art of Costume Pod, on TikTok at The Art of Costume. If you want to hear an extra episode every single month, you can head to patreon.com/The Art of Costume and become one of our costume mavens. If you want to show your support through some merchandise, you can head to theartofcostume.com/podstore. Or if you really, really love us and want to leave us a little 5-star text review on Apple Podcast, that would be incredibly appreciated.
And thank you all so much for listening. And I hope you have a incredible Nutcracker holiday, whatever that means. Like I said, we don't know what that means, but
we're here for it. Yeah. Go roast some walnuts by an open fire. Go make some gingerbread men. Go make some cookies.
Yeah. Also, we did look up during our break what a sugar plum is. Not a fan, but if you're into that sort of thing, please go for it.
Yeah. If you like to like mixed fruit and nuts deal, check out sugar plums.
And see you all next week.
The Art of Costume Blogcast is hosted and produced by Elizabeth Joy Glass and Spencer Williams. Our audio engineering and editing is done by Dan White. Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod or visit theartofcostumeblogcast.com for all Blogcast updates. If if you want to support the show, go to theartofcostume.com/podstore. Or you can head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume for some bonus content. For more costume reviews, deep dives, and interviews, head over to theartofcostume.com, a blog dedicated to highlighting the best in costume design.
Is the sugar plum a real thing? Yes. Traditional sugar plum candy is made of dried fruit and toasted nuts with warm spices rolled in sugar.
I don't want that.
No, they don't look terribly appetizing, I'll be honest.
All right, you ready to jump into it?
Yeah, I didn't pause recording, did you?
No.
Okay,
sorry,
perfect.
Daniel. Daniel probably wanted to know what sugar plum is too.
He definitely did. You did, Daniel. I know you did.
All right, I'll bring us in.
Okay.